All right, folks. So nitric oxide is a famous new molecule. Well, not that new. But we are hot on the revelation that 5 is the number of joy. Okay? And so nitric oxide, you can read all about it on Wikipedia and on health websites everywhere. It's NO, one nitrogen, one oxygen, and it's basically the molecule that signals your smooth muscle around all of your blood vessels to relax and thereby enhance your blood flow, okay? Which is joy, okay? So blood flow, first and foremost, equals Good Friday, equals love, joy, the first two fruits of the Spirit, okay? LOW, okay, is a famous trio that equals 50, which equals joy. And then blood plus the F equals love. Blood flow equals love, joy, okay? And there's a host of other famous 104s that equal love, joy that make perfect logical sense in the whole joy discussion, okay? Nitric oxide equals blood vessel, okay? Both terms divide by 5. And it's fun to slow down and pick apart the individual 5s in this term. Now I'm looking at websites that tell me which natural foods you can eat in order to increase the amount of nitric oxide in your system. In general, it's all about blood flow, okay? So these are foods that, vasodilators, right? Okay. But I marvel at the ones that are screaming out 5s because 5 is the number of joy. So I just had some spinach. Spinach divides by 5, and it starts with the famous SP, which is 35, and then it has other teams of 5s in it. In fact, it starts with the famous SP, which is 35, and then it just doubles that. And then it doubles that with another 35, okay? So, very obvious. And I'll bet you can probably split those teams into a 16 and a 19. Can you? No, that's fine. Okay. But beetroot is probably the most shocking of all. Because beetroot, the letters, it's not root beer. No, it's beetroot. Root beer is very close to beetroot, but it's not beetroot. Beetroot, the healthy guy, is 520s. It is smoking hot for 5. And so I am going on record with a theory based on all my Gematria research that those people who consume generous amounts of beetroot will literally feel the joy inside of them. What is that feeling of joy inside of you? It is the enhanced blood flow, which comes through nitric oxide, which divides by 5. And blood flow, remember, is love, joy, which parallels joy, okay? And there's all those O's in it, which is the king number for 5, 15, 555. Blood flow, joy, O. Here we go. Okay, so 5 is the number of joy. That's the revelation from the Lord. And God is sovereign over the words of modern science and every word that is being written in His history books. Okay, God uses people to make this happen, but He's sovereign over the spelling of everything, everywhere. True story. So I am here for the glory of God, okay? And as people get this revelation and understand it, okay, everyone is thinking about God everywhere they go because they're understanding the personal names of God and what He's saying mathematically through every single word you've ever seen. So beetroot is loaded. So it's so embarrassing. EEOO 55 15 15 and then TT is 20 20, BR adds 20. So put the E's together with O's, 5 plus 15, that's 20. So beetroot, very clearly, very obviously, is 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. That's 20/20 vision, like, times 5. So beetroot is perfectly easily 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. Remember, 5 is the number of joy. 20 parallels joy. 5/20s is smoking hot. So what's the connection? So now that we glaringly, obviously, see that beetroot is screaming out the 5, which is the number of joy. Now go to your science, go to modern science and see what they've discovered about people who ingest beetroot. Does it actually make you feel happier on the inside? And the answer is yes. And why does it make you feel happier? Because it increases your blood flow. That's it. That's the key, is blood flow to all of your trillions of cells. It reduces blood pressure and hypertension and does a lot, but most of all, so I'm reading here off this one site on list of foods that stimulate nitric oxide production. Now, nitric oxide is all over the modern sports world, and athletes are, figuring out ways to, boost their nitric oxide levels, because it's all about the blood flow. So nitric oxide, God is sovereign over that term. Nitric oxide equals blood vessel, both terms divide by 5, because it is an agent of joy. Okay, nitric oxide is the official God-ordained term that is the name of the guy that relaxes your smooth muscle cells and allows blood to flow more freely through your entire body. So pick apart the letters nitric oxide into various teams of 5 to get even more satisfaction. Okay, it ends in E5. It's got a ton of 5s near the center. You can cluster these guys in various ways. What would be the... there's lots of ways to do it. You can do that in more detail for homework. Just curiously... I just searched for 50, particularly in nitric oxide. It's on the end of the word nitric. Fine. Okay, so okay, so beetroot. So I'm looking at foods that scream out 5s. Okay, seafood does quite nicely. There's a lot of pink seafood like salmon, tuna, and shrimp. Okay, pink equals joy, and tuna and salmon parallel joy, for example. And a large salmon, also called a chinook or a tai is my favorite word, because every letter in tai divides by 5. It's a salmon that's 30 pounds or more. Okay, but it's maximum 5s for maximum joy. And when someone catches a large tai salmon, it's pure joy because it's huge. It's a huge sucker. Okay, so you have to see the joy of God in everything that's happening down here. Seafood equals the great 65. Pop off an O, the rest equals joy. It's very glaring. So seafood is such a beautiful combination, because food divides by 5 and sea is 5 times 5. Sea and sky both divide by 5. Just like the word soil. Okay, sea, the sky, the soil. Okay, all of these words divide by 5. You got 55 for sky and soil, 25 for sea. Seafood. It's like 2 of the biggest words in the universe that divide by 5. And from the dawn of man, how many foods have come from the sea? Lots. I mean, Jesus called fishermen. Jesus prepared a breakfast for the fishermen composed of fish and bread. So seafood, big joy in seafood. Sea is 25, food is 40. Glaring 5s. The center vowels in both words are 5 and 15 respectively. The SA makes 20. Sea and food are identical in their design for joy. 5 at the center of sea, 20 at the bookends. Okay. Food, 2 15s at the center. 10 at the bookends. So, and then you put seafood together, and it's this 5-5 combination that's irresistible. So there's much joy. The message 5, joy is the number of, or 5 is the number of joy. There is much joy in seafood. Okay. There you go. And I find it interesting. The word pink equals joy, and there's research out now that the what is it called? The anthocyanins in pink salmon, sockeye salmon, in tuna, and in shrimp are responsible for a large number of health effects benefits that we are researching. Okay, but there you go. So seafood, that's a big one. So garlic is king for vasodilation. Garlic equals joy, and I'm focusing on the words that spinach divides by 5. Arugula. 9. That's an interesting sucker to do. It equals the sun. I'd have to spend a little more time staring at that to get my opinion on all the gematria of that one. Very balanced letters. Walnuts divides by 5. Pomegranate is king. Citrus divides by 5, pure 5s in citrus. Much joy in that. And then cocoa is a king. Alright, but I just want to record videos on terms that I believe to have solved for the first time, because this is history. Nitric oxide. Okay. Beetroot is just shockingly loaded. 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. All right. Well, the research continues. Okay. So nitric oxide is a great fiver. I'm just doing more research here. All right, more to come.